Breaking tonight, angry protesters hitting the streets over what they call the latest incident of racist policing in America. But the folks in the middle of this mess say the video today seen by millions only tells part of the story. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. The Black Lives Matter protest group has tonight organized what they call a March for Justice in McKinney, Texas, just getting underway there. It started with a Friday evening party in McKinney that quickly went bad. Residents say a rowdy group of teens first started trespassing, then began harassing the neighbors. Then the confrontation turned really ugly with alleged racial slurs, fights, and one police officer caught on camera now being held up as the latest in a media narrative about cops out of control. Here are parts of the video.
Don't take off running when the cops get here. What's up, man? Oh, thank you.
It was some guy. One of these.
Okay, guys, I appreciate it.
None of them were involved.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
It was this guy's. It was that guy's.
Whoa, sir.
Get on the ground.
Hold up, sir.
I told you to stay. Your is down on the ground.
The girl right there, running, she's one of these guys.
On the ground.
Damn, bro, we're hoopers. That is wrong. How is he even? Who is you, Georgie? We just got here, man. Hey, come, man. What the heck? Sir, we just got here. Sir, we just came for a birthday party, please.
We'll figure it out now in a minute.
Please, sir.
So right now you're staying. Don't make me run around here with 30 pounds of goddamn gear on the sun because you want to screw around out here. Y'all keep standing there and run your mouths. You're going to go too. Get out of here. I already told you. Leave. I don't care. Leave. You're leaving now. You're leaving now. You are leaving now. Leave. That way.
Don't touch shit.
Get your going. Keep running your mouth. Leave.
Hey, y'all film it. Y'all film it, okay? But you chill out.
I'm literally a freedom.
That video is hard to watch. Trace Gallagher live in our West Coast newsroom with the report. Trace?
Megyn, the ACLU called it a textbook case of overuse of force, but the ACLU also acknowledged not knowing any facts about the party, the crowd, or the fighting, which are vital when it comes to context. So for the record, the party was a combination birthday, graduation, pool party. It was advertised on social media and included a DJ from Dallas. Several residents say the music was blasting and inappropriate, and that carloads of uninvited teens began arriving, jumping the fence, and arguing with security. When some neighbors confronted the organizer of the party, things got physical. Listen to a teen who was cuffed by police explain what started the original fight.
The two women got mad because we were being disrespectful to our elders, but if they really were our elders, then why weren't they acting like it? They got involved in the fight and they were yelling and using profanity towards us.
Can you tell me what the man in question said that sort of precipitated this?
Well, when we were trying to get a group of teens in the pool, he said to go back to Section 8 housing where you belong and get out of my neighborhood.
By most estimates, there were more than 100 teens on site. Police told us the call came in as multiple juveniles who do not live in the area actively fighting. A dozen police officers arrived on scene. It's unclear at exactly what point in the confrontation this video began rolling, but the first few minutes clearly show the officer in question, Corporal Eric Casebolt, trying to get the teens to sit down and telling a group of young women and girls several times to move on. They refused. 15-year-old Dejaria Becton, the girl who was subdued, picks it up from there. Listen.
I'm guessing he thought we were saying rude stuff to him. He grabbed me and he twisted my arm on the back of my back, and he shoved me in the grass, and he started pulling the back of my braids, and I was telling him that he can get off me because my back was hurting really bad.
And as you heard, the tape also shows Officer Casebolt using profanity and pulling out his weapon. Here's how the McKinney police chief responded to questions.
Well, we did see the video. At this time, I'm not prepared to talk about anything in particular, but we want it, in watching the video, we did want to conduct a full investigation into it.
But others in the neighborhood fully support the police action. Bennett Embry, who's black, said, quote, "Look, I live in this community and this entire incident is not racial at all. A few thugs spoiled a community event by fighting, jumping over fences into a private pool, harassing and damaging property. Not everything is about race." Another neighbor who you see standing here with police now tells the Kelly File that he had to send his family away because he's getting threats. None of the other officers who responded to the party is being investigated at this point. Megyn.
Trace, thank you. Well, now some locals who were there on Friday evening are speaking out, saying this video doesn't tell the whole story, as some cable news broadcasts looped it almost nonstop today with questions about whether this is just the latest in a pattern of police misconduct. Here's just one example.
We are in the midst of what feels like for many young people a pandemic of police misconduct. We have to take this seriously.
You think there's an element of racism here?
Well, if not racial profiling by policy, perhaps racial profiling by assumption. The fact of the matter is we had one white person who was there say, "I felt invisible because all of these children of color were directed to sit down, but I was not."
Earlier tonight, I spoke with Sean, a resident of Craig Ranch, who was at the pool with his wife and his two young children, including a 7-year-old, as well as another friend from the neighborhood when the chaos started. So how did you know things were out of hand? I mean, what made you call the cops?
Well, one, the music that was being played by the DJ it wasn't appropriate for kids that are my son's age, and quite honestly, it wasn't appropriate for some of the teenagers that were there. And then just the attacks that some of the residents started getting, being called racist for telling the security guard that about the kids who were jumping a fence. And
so the residents were called racists for pushing back on the kids who were jumping the fence. Did you hear any of the residents use any racist terms?
I didn't hear anything like that. The stuff I was hearing was towards the residents of the pool, saying, "You guys just don't want any black people here, and you're racist." And
well, there was an allegation that somebody there, that a security guard there, had said to those jumping the fence something like, "Go back to public housing."
No, I never heard him say anything even remotely similar to that.
When did it escalate to violence?
I was taking my family back home because my sons were crying and scared. The verbal altercation started when we were walking out and with another group, and it spiraled from there.
What was it that scared your son?
It was, I think, the things being yelled to the parents about, all the teens yelling to us, just the overall atmosphere was pretty intimidating for a 7-year-old.
The real pushback has been on this one police officer, this Corporal Eric Casebolt, who's a 10-year veteran of the force, for, in particular, taking down this 14-year-old girl, African-American girl, taking her down and putting a knee in her back in what is a shocking piece of videotape. In addition to the way he handled the other teenagers who were running around, people are saying he's a racist, explicitly saying he's a racist, others saying he used excessive force, he was too aggressive, and he mishandled the situation. What say you?
I would disagree. He was the first officer to arrive there, and I mean, it was chaos when he arrived there, and I think he kind of had to match that situation with a good amount of aggression to kind of calm the crowd down. I was within feet of him when he sat down 13 to 15 kids and made them sit down on the ground. And the only people he were going after were people who just got up and started running. And it wasn't just black kids. There was a white female was one of the first ones I saw in handcuffs. So I thought he acted the way he needed to help in the chaos that was happening.
Well, let me ask you about that, because one of the allegations is he only went after the black kids. Was it just the one white person who you saw him place in cuffs, or did you see him go after anybody else who was white?
I always saw him going after people who were running. He was only chasing people who got up and ran away from him.
Did you see any white people running away? Did he chase any whites other than, or was it all blacks?
I didn't see any white people running away. The majority of the people I saw get up and run were black.
Mm-hmm. What about the 14-year-old girl? Because, you know, you see that tape and it is brutal to watch. How can you justify? Because people will be at home saying, how's he defending that?
Well, I think, the officer gave her a chance to leave, multiple times told her to leave, and she refused. And one of the things I don't think is also being talked about is the officer ran out of handcuffs. And I think if he would have had handcuffs on him, he would have been able to cuff this girl and it wouldn't have gone this far. But, he was kind of sitting on her back waiting for other officers to bring cuffs over.
I realize this is a 7-minute videotape. How long did the incident last?
It had at least started 45 minutes before that 7-minute video was taken, and it probably lasted a good, 15, 20 minutes after as well.
Describe the scene that officer walked into, because, we see it and kids are running and he starts running and he seems pretty amped up.
He was, and, I think it's just because of the situation he walked into. I mean, there was just people everywhere. People were screaming, and, there was little kids running away from the pool crying. So, I mean, he walked into a pretty intense situation, so I think he just matched the intensity that he walked into.
Were there any physical altercations other than the one that we saw between him and the 14-year-old girl?
There was a fight between a young black girl and two middle-aged white females.
Security officers? Were they security guards? The women? The older women?
They were not. One of them I know was a resident. The other one I believe was visiting a resident there.
Mm-hmm. And was that before or after the police arrived?
This was before the police arrived.
Okay. And was it one of the reasons?
I was actually on the phone with the police when the fight happened, and I was telling them, hey, you guys got to get somebody here because their fights are breaking out now. And
what do you make? What is the status in the area now? Because we've spoken with some residents who say they're scared. Anybody who defends the cops. One guy says he's had death threats and has had armed security posted outside of his house. What has your experience been?
At this point, the whole neighborhood is pretty uneasy. I mean, there's a protest that's happening tonight, and based on what we've seen nationally, a lot of the neighbors are kind of concerned about how it may end. And, I think the majority of us, even as a whole community in Craig Ranch, have been labeled a certain way. And that's not sitting well with anybody. Most of the people I've talked to support what the police did, and most people don't think this is a race issue. This is a out-of-control kids issue.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Sean? I know you didn't want to give your last name. Are you scared? I mean, are you concerned for your own safety?
I'm concerned for my family's safety. Like I said, we've been getting a lot of calls, a lot of people wanting to talk to us, and based on what we've seen about some of the Facebook and people on Twitter, some of the stuff being said about people siding with the police, I think we have good reason to be a bit concerned.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. We appreciate it, Sean.
I appreciate it. Thank you.